Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Terry is out becoming his true, authentic self, but he'll be back with us next week.
I'm Mickey. I'm sitting in for Terry today, and we got a hell of a show.
Now, you guys got some big problems going on there in Illinois. Not that you didn't already know that, but it just keeps hitting the news.
Yeah, and when it does hit the news seems to apologize for it. It's disgusting what's happening here. Uh, there's no regard for human life unless it's a legal human life that doesn't belong here. There's compassion when it's an illegal alien, but when it's an 18-year-old girl, it's brushed off and laughed at, and it's just disgusting. And it's Democrats. We have a
Yeah.
Democrat. We don't have an illegal alien problem in this country. We have a Democrat problem in this country. We got to fix it.
Yeah. Now to go up and bring up our first headline here. School paper apologizes for calling freshman's accused killer an illegal immigrant, because that's the biggest offense. Loyola student newspaper apologized for calling Sheridan Gorman's murder suspect an illegal immigrant. Like, that's the biggest problem. They're more worried about that and offending people than they are about the numerous homicides that that the illegals are committing on Americans, not to mention all the rapes, the drug dealing, the human trafficking, the fact that they're causing housing prices to go up. Nobody wants to talk about any of that, but if we dare to use the wrong words and hurt their little fifis, that becomes the story.
Well, I'm going to use the right words right now. Not only is he an illegal alien, not only is he a murderer, not only is he disease carrying tuberculosis invader of America, he's also scum. And the people who brought him here are scum too, and that's the Democrats. That's Brandon Johnson. That's J.B. Pritzker, and it's every one of the people in this country who vote Democrat. They're all guilty. They all have blood on their hands. This is what they voted for, and this time it got an 18-year-old kid killed senselessly. She was looking at the northern lights at Lake Michigan, and she was shot in the back of the head while running away. And more shockingly, someone commented, well, maybe she startled him.
Huh. Seems like a valid
It,
excuse.
it's dumbfounded. She startled him. Look at this guy. Does he look like he's startled? He doesn't look startled to me. He looks like a vicious savage, a vicious third world savage with no remorse, a low IQ, and he just doesn't belong here. We've got to get ICE in here. We've got to get him in here full strength. We need the National Guard. We need to clean Illinois out.
Yeah, we need to. I don't know what it's going to take to straighten your state out. We're going to have to get to more to that here in a minute. But Terry Newsom's actually got a tweet out there right now. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter, you need to be. X, sorry. But if you look at this guy's hat, you'll see the Michael Jordan logo on it. And this is a sign for Tren de Agua, TDA. So again, follow Terry over on Twitter, but he just sent this out. This is from DHS. Previous document mailed alien enemy validation guide revealed explicitly lists Chicago Bulls apparel and Jordan brand items as potential indicators for identifying suspected TDA members. Key details from DHS HSI document. Additional identifier selection. It states that TDA members, typically described as males aged 18 to 25, favor the Chicago Bulls basketball jerseys, specifically Michael Jordan jerseys, number 23, and Jordan Jumpman footwear and sneakers. So again, that's what we see this guy, and I'm sure he's affiliated. I'm sure they just don't want to talk about that because, again, they'd rather focus on us using the wrong terminology. You know, I guess he just murdered this poor woman, this poor 18-year-old, because he didn't feel welcome enough in the country that he was invading.
Yeah, I would like to welcome him with a limb and a rope. We should start hanging these people in the public square because
Yeah.
that's what you need to do. Because this coddling of them, this accepting of them, this labeling them or mislabeling them is being mean and uncompassionate. It's a bunch of BS, Mike. These are what they are. They're criminal, illegal aliens, and that's all they are. They don't belong here. They don't belong in our society. They don't share our values. They don't come here to assimilate. They come here to divide us. They come here to outbreed us. And it's time for them to go. It's time for us all to stand up and do something. And unfortunately, we need to do something about the Democrats because they are the guilty ones here. They're the ones who are voting for this. And they're voting for it for one reason and one reason only. And it's not the compassion that they claim. They're voting for it for political power now and political power in the future.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to find the name of your, was it alderman up there? Was she a local official that just said, oh, this lady was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, blames the victim for his crimes. You got Pritzker out there blaming ICE is the reason that this happened, not the illegal alien that committed the crime once again. And what was it Brandon Johnson said about it?
I can't tell you what he said about it. I don't remember. I try not to listen to him too much, but I did happen to catch. Uh, was there a video of him or something with a brand new plow truck?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and run that here real quick.
And to all of the residents who participated in our snowplow naming contest, keep speaking up in every way and any way that you can. I look forward to meeting with the Chicagoans who submitted the winning names, and I look forward to seeing our city's pride, our spirit, and even, yes, our humor represent us again next year. And so with that, take a moment to, I guess, take in all that you all have been waiting for. This moment is finally here. The snowplow with the most votes, most entries, abolish ICE. Thank you very much.
I would love to wipe that smug smile off of his face. He didn't do this a week or two ago. He did this immediately following her murder, her brutal murder, where she was shot in the back of the head on Chicago's lakefront. And within a day of that happening, within a day of her parents' grief, he unleashes his abolish ICE snowplow. What a I promised a good friend I wouldn't swear too much on this episode so she could share it, and that's Jennifer Boss. But Jennifer, I'm sorry. Brandon Johnson, you're a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit.
Well, he knows it. Again, it's not the first time. You don't get a 6% approval rating without trying. But this is par for the course for the left right now. Senator Majority Whip John Barrasso exposes Democrat caught on tape saying the people we care most about are the undocumented. So this is Senator Chris Murphy that said that. It's on tape. It's since been released. But that's the Democrats' priority right now. So Brandon Johnson, I'm sure, is no different than Chris Murphy or anybody else for that matter. They know that these new Americans, the new voters, that's the priority. They want to take care of them. They don't really care about you guys. Anybody that's lived in Chicago, you are low priority. They need their illegal alien base that'll stay there. They're captives, dependent on them for your part of your paycheck, redistributed through government benefits, because otherwise they're going to lose power. Right now, they are praying that the Supreme Court does not do the right thing and eliminate illegal aliens from the census when it comes to apportionment of representation, because if they do their job and follow the Constitution instead of being swayed by the political tides at the moment, that blue states are done. California, I've seen some estimates now that between California, New York, Illinois, and I can't remember if it was. Sorry, I don't remember the last date. I think it was. I want to say Minnesota, but I feel like that's not right. But anyway, they picked 4 states, and they said if you just eliminate the illegal aliens from the census tally from those 4 states, the Democrats could be looking at losing 17 to 20 seats in representation. Most of that is obviously out of California, where you have a massive illegal immigration problem that's been ongoing for decades, where they've essentially taken over the state. But even otherwise, like, this will chip away at their power, and it'll redistribute the voters to where they belong, to red states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, other places that people have moved to as the left's just gotten completely out of control in this country and abandoned the voters that put them there to begin with. And people know it. People are sick and tired of this. Mass deportations still have popular support, regardless of the messaging that you're seeing right now. It's telling candidates, don't run on that in this election cycle. Be quiet about it till after the midterms. It's 57% approval. the other 43% don't matter. It is time to actually move forward with mass deportations and move away from just getting the criminals. We have to fix this problem once and for all, or you're going to end up with more murders like this. Because from what I understand, this guy had, or no, was it this guy had not been arrested in the U.S. before? Is that correct?
You're talking about Sheridan's murder, Sheridan Gorman's murderer, the
Yes.
Venezuelan Trent Agua. He was arrested at the border, and it was part of Biden's catch and release. So he was let go into society, and he was given, a future hearing and a cell phone and probably a hotel room. And he was picked up in the city of Chicago after that on a shoplifting charge. And instead of doing the right thing and calling ICE and saying, "Hey, we got this guy here. He's a dangerous guy," they let him go again back into society. And what did it get? An 18-year-old girl shot in the back of the head.
Yeah. Okay. So what the shop? I guess the point I was trying to make is so this guy had not been arrested for a violent crime previously, so you can't. That is not a predictive indicator. A shoplifting charge. There's plenty of people that get that. Normally it's a nonviolent crime. However, that's turning into another thing too with all these flash mobs that go in and rob stores and everything else. But regardless, this would be somebody that normally the Democrats would say, "Oh, no, this guy's not a violent criminal. Oh, yeah, maybe he stole something. It was probably because he was hungry. He probably stole, a loaf of bread and some peanut butter because he just couldn't get enough to eat because Trump's America and being cut off of his entitlement programs." But the reality is that that's not always an indicator. The crime is at a much higher rate than it is somebody that legally immigrated here or somebody that is an actual U.S. citizen. We have to actually deal in reality, deal with the facts, and start addressing this problem for what it is instead of pretending that these are, pop-up taco trucks and whatever are worth the price of a mass invasion and looting of our federal government.
Oh yeah. Well, here, these illegal immigrants are the new Dindus. Dindu nothings, right? And you remember that from a while back. You had young Dindu nothing, and we put him on, whenever he killed somebody. Well, here he is in his cap and gown. He was a model student, honor roll student. He played basketball. You know what? These are the new Dindu nothings. And here, I got a 3-letter word. Hasn't committed a violent crime yet. Here's your predictive indicator. They snuck into the country from a third world shithole, and they have no morals. They don't share our values. They're never going to assimilate. They offer nothing to society except leeching, murder, and tuberculosis. It's time for them to all go. It's time for them to leave America.
Yeah, pretty simple. I think America spoke in the last election. And to, I guess, kind of move this into another story too. Look at ICE right now, out there assisting the TSA because once again, the Democrats don't really care about our security. They want to hold us hostage so that they can continue to keep their illegal aliens on the welfare rolls and not have mass deportations and not let ICE go into schools and other sensitive areas where they may arrest people. They certainly don't want ICE showing up at the polls. Let's not pay attention to that story out in California right now where they just found 650,000 people illegally on the voter rolls. And that's just in one county. Let's not talk about that or anything else. No, this is their new constituency. This is who they're going to protect. And unfortunately, there's a bunch of blue-haired moonbat wine moms out there that are throwing themselves at ICE vehicles, begging to be thrown in prison or killed because they think that this is their mission. They think that this is the new abolitionist movement. But these people are just too dumb or brainwashed to understand reality.
I had a fun conversation though. I recently started, and I know you're aware, we recently started a change.org petition. And as I've been sharing it around and spreading it around the internet and the world, I've had some interesting comments from our friends, the Democrats. And, one of them commented, "Where was your compassion for pretty? And where was your compassion for good?" And I'll tell you where my compassion was for them is I didn't have much. And I didn't have much because they asked for it. They chose it. They committed suicide. They weren't murdered. Yep. They weren't an 18-year-old college kid from Yorktown out at the lake trying to see the northern lights with their friends that got shot in the back of the head. They were agitators. They were paid agitators who went looking for it. So I have no compassion for people like Pretty and Good, and I never will, because they earned it. I feel sorry for them that they were useful brainwashed idiots, just like every Democrat that supports this stuff is. They may be college educated, but they're really, really dumb. And Democrats, Mike, are the problem with this country. The reason we're facing the problems we're facing now, because they create this stuff, because they are uneducated, they are unintelligent, and they vote for these policies that create murders of young kids like Sheridan Gorman. It's disgusting.
Yeah, sanctuary state policies lead to people being killed. And again, this isn't new. This is what we're seeing over and over again in the states that will not address the problem. They're going to have more homicides, more assaults, more crime. Now, again, this problem is in red states too. I live here in Ohio, 20 miles from Springfield, Ohio, where they eat the cats and dogs, and about 35, 40 miles from outside Cincinnati, where they're bribing judges to keep illegal aliens from North Africa here. It's upside down and backwards. We can't pretend that if Biden props the door open and lets 20 million people in, that all of a sudden a few years later there's no way we can send them back. And that's what the left's doing. Is this a war against America? They ought to be treated like the treasonous traitors they are. But again, I don't know why our country just doesn't have the stones anymore to do what's necessary to protect ourselves, protect our border, and do what is right, both morally and politically.
I gotta tell you, I think we're waking up a little bit, and I have some hope. The petition's given me hope. I know when you had it up there on the screen for a minute, we saw 2,100 and something signatures. That may not seem like a lot, 2,181. That may not seem like a lot, but that's occurred in less than 2 days, and that's occurred through the efforts of me and me only. I've been pushing this on social media. I've been reaching out to people. I'm one guy, and I got 2,181 people who have gotten behind this. So I have to believe there's millions of us out there that will get behind this. And I got to believe if we get behind this, Mike, I got to believe we can change these laws in Illinois. Number one, I got to believe we can investigate the circumstances that caused this young lady's murder and learn how to stop it. And I believe that we can impeach J.B. Pritzker either through these efforts or by electing a Republican in November here in Illinois. And that's another thing that's got me. My guy didn't win. My guy didn't win in the primary. My guy was Sheriff Mendrick. Everybody knows that. I loved him. I got along with him. He's a good friend. His wife, Cindy's a great person, but he didn't win. So now, you know who my guy is? It's Darren Bailey and Aaron Delmar. And I'm going to get behind him. I'm going to push, because whether you like them or not, people, they're better than Democrats. And they're going to do a better job than J.B. Pritzker. And they're not going to sit there and let illegal aliens walk around with guns and shoot 18-year-old kids in the back of the head. So Republicans, you got to wake up in Illinois, because our problem is not a Darren Bailey problem. Our problem is a Democrat problem. And if we don't get behind somebody, you might as well go next November and vote for Pritzker, because that's what you're doing. It's time to wake up and get with the cause and show up and vote and support the people who are here. Whether you agree with them 100%, it doesn't matter, because I know you people don't agree with Pritzker. You better do something, because there's going to be more dead kids if you don't.
Agreed. Well, I just signed the petition too, even though I'm not in Illinois. I can still add to the numbers and share it out. And guys, do the same. Get on there right now. I know I just shared it out. I'm sure if you go Mickey's account on Twitter, X, whatever, and Terry's, I'm sure you should be able to find links to it right now. Sign this petition, send it to everybody you know, and send a message. Nothing's going to change if we don't take some kind of action, and this kind of thing is just going to continue. And then once again, there's going to be outrage, and then nothing will happen. It's up to you to get your butt out off the seat and make changes. And even if that's just making some phone calls, calling your legislators, demanding something happens here, and that this isn't just one more death that gets forgotten.
And I got to tell you, this isn't the only death here in Illinois related to illegal immigration. We have a local girl Megan, who's from Antioch here, and her mom Jennifer was just on Fox News yesterday talking about it. Because this woke that up. What happened to Sheridan in Chicago, getting shot in the back of the head by an illegal alien. Megan wasn't shot in the back of the head by an illegal alien. She was left upside down in a trash can in his yard, covered in bleach, left to rot, while her mother wondered every day, why her young daughter wondered every day where her mom was, why her mother wondered every day where her daughter was, and walked around with hope that she might find her, but she'd never find her because an illegal alien left her stuffed upside down in a garbage can covered in bleach. And you know what happened when they finally caught that guy, Mike?
Nothing, probably.
I don't think he was even held overnight. They let him out because in Illinois, we have the cashless bail and all the rules. And being an illegal alien in Illinois, and I'll say it again, being an illegal alien in Illinois, stuffing a young woman, a mother, a daughter, upside down in a trash can and covering her in bleach is not considered dangerous enough to hold somebody in jail until their trial. What is wrong with you Democrats? Are you sick in the head? You have to be. Anybody who supports this, anybody who believes that is normality, belongs in a place I like to call a mental institution. And we need to make those great again because these Democrats have lost their mind.
So what line do you have to cross before they will hold you in jail in Illinois? Is it just
you have to be a white conservative male with a concealed carry permit? Other than that, you're free to go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, that it would be the horrendous crime of defending yourself while white.
Yeah, Mike, why I got the screen here on my website underneath me. An easy way to find the petition is at mickeyx3.com. We have a page set up. It says impeach Pritzker. The petition is there. You can reach it there. You can also reach it on the Antioch Republicans website. We set up a page there for that. Get on the site. Go to my site. Get behind the cause. Sign the petition. Buy a shirt. This is one of my favorite ones. It's dangerous. It's got our logo on the sleeve. On the back, it talks about being a dangerous man. We have some great merchandise. All the money that comes from these shirts I use to support causes like this, and it costs a lot of money to do the stuff we do, and that really supports the cause. So go to mickeyx3.com, sign the petition, buy a shirt, get behind something, do something, start your own petition. Vote Republican, everybody, because I'll tell you what, the next kid that gets murdered might be someone you know. It happened right here in Antioch. We have our own victim here in Antioch. Her name is Megan. I see what her mother goes through. I've seen her daughter and the looks on the family's faces, and it's horrible what these people have had to endure. I cannot imagine what Sheridan Gorman's parents are going through right now. They have to be. I just dealt with the death of my mom, and it was horrible. And she was sick, and we knew it was coming, and it was still horrible. I can't imagine what this family's going through. I cannot imagine what they feel, and it's absolutely horrible. We have to stop it. We have to stop the Democrats. Number one, you got to stop them because they are evil. This is the pure, raw definition of evil is Democrats. They are sick, disgusting, vile people. If you identify as a Democrat, you should be ashamed of yourself right now because you have blood on your hands.
Democrats have no shame. Terry just sent me another one. So this is out of New York. I just heard the story the other day, but 83-year-old veteran randomly shoved onto New York City subway tracks dies from injuries. Illegal immigrant charged with murder. Again, there are literally hundreds of examples like this now. I know the Democrats are out there. Well, this could happen to anybody. It's just a random crime. It's just a random attack. No, none of these would have happened if Biden would have just done his job and closed the border down, kept Trump's remain in Mexico policy in force, and not allowed this invasion. There are literally hundreds of people to be alive. There's thousands actually with the drug overdoses and everything else that would be alive if we had just shut down the border, done done our job and defended the country. Democrats used to be all about this. There's videos of Chuck Schumer talking about the importance of borders and immigration control, from 20 years ago. But now that they know that this is where their constituents are going to be coming from, and that their base is just brainwashed to think that if we don't let anybody into our country and give them welfare benefits, a place to stay, free education, and everything else, that somehow that's akin to slavery. In reality, what the Democrats really want are slaves. They've never been happy since the end of the Civil War, when they lost and they had to give up their slaves. Ever since then, they've been trying to keep people under control, whether it's their Jim Crow laws in the South or what we see now with keeping illegal aliens here, because, and again, their words, not mine, they need people to scrub their toilets and mow their lawns. These people are wage slaves. They don't have legal status. They're working for subpar wages, and they are entirely dependent on the Democrat elite class to stay here. So they know that they've bought their loyalty. Now, eventually, once they need to, maybe they'll pay them off with some sort of mass amnesty to ensure that the illegal aliens continue to vote for them so they can maintain power. But again, no doubt about it, this is a wedge, and this is intentional.
Yeah, Mike, I want you to leave that picture up while I talk. I didn't know this was coming, and my blood is boiling. What kind of savage, and let's forget that it's a veteran, what kind of savage illegal immigrant looks at an 83-year-old person and decides it's a good idea to throw them on the subway tracks and murder them? Yeah, kumbaya. Let's have these people here, Democrats. And look at the face on that piece of trash. Look at the look on. He has no remorse. He would do it again given another chance. We need to start doing something about these people. We need to start doing something about Democrats. We need mass movement of them all into mental institutions because they think this is a good idea. And it's going to be a good idea for them right to the point where these people start shoving them on subway tracks. When these people start shooting them, then it might not be a good idea. But as long as it's our daughters having this happen to them, they're okay with that because they don't like women anyway.
Yeah, well, it won't, even that won't work. I mean, when it's one of their own that's attacked, killed, harmed by policies they put in place, if that person then afterwards has the gall to speak out about it, they become persona non grata. Then the left throws them under the bus too. Again, we've seen this happen over and over again. Look at the lady that was just attacked in the homeless camps out in L.A., who says something about it afterwards, complains about the police, and then suddenly they're attacking her for being racist, for having the gall to call the police, to want her cell phone back that was stolen, maybe want something done about being assaulted. Then it's her fault. She's not respecting the homeless way of life. And what if that person was a poor illegal immigrant? Now she's putting his life at risk. Really, she should think about who the real victim is in this situation. That's exactly what they're going to do. They don't care. They will stay on message and on brand no matter how bad they're harmed, until it gets to the point where it finally boils over and you have Democrats, lifetime Democrats leaving the party because they're on the wrong side of basically every issue right now. Want to protect America's borders? Nope, can't do that. They're out there right now, and I don't have this one pulled up. Let me just read you the headline, though, because I just saw this flash on my phone a second ago. Abhorrent. Terrorist sympathizers in Philadelphia celebrate fallen U.S. soldiers, back Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran while torching American flags. For every U.S. soldier who returns home in a casket, we cheer. These are Democrats in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that are out there. I mean, yes, this is the Hamas wing of the Democrat Party, but it's all part of the same evil beast. Something has to be done about this. These people are unhinged. We have to start treating them like the threat they are. And again, Pam Bondi, wake up. Time to start making some arrests. The only Democrat to actually say something about this in Philadelphia that I've seen is Fetterman, once again. The only one with two brain cells rubbed together. Let me pull his tweet up here real quick. Here in Philadelphia, truly appalling. These assholes chanting for the death of our service members. Where's the Dem outrage and condemnation? And that's from Democrat Senator John Fetterman, but he's the only one to do it. And again, he's shouting out "end wokeness" for putting this video out because the mainstream media is just ignoring it. I mean, it's pathetic.
Yeah, and I'll give Fetterman credit. He's a Democrat, but he's been a stand-up guy, and he. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to hate myself later. He's a common sense Democrat. He's got a little bit of common sense, right?
Well,
I don't see many other ones like that, and it's disgusting. They're not allowed to think for themselves. And the ones, and he's not the only one who thinks like that, but he's the only one who will actually act on his thoughts. The rest of them are mindless pawns. They're mindless pawns, and they're all bought and paid for, and they're all part of just an evil thing. And I'm happy that you mentioned the type of people, the Middle Eastern strain of immigrants here in America, because they're, the Latins that are here, they're killing our kids one at a time. These other son of a bitches, they want to do mass murder. Look at the guy. Was it New York not that long ago with the bomb, and you had the idiot with the bullhorn, and he's screaming, "Everybody's welcome," as the piece of shit jumps over him, and he's throwing a bomb. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Are they that dumb? Are they that? Yes, they are. I answered my own question. Yes, they are. It's befuddling. You can't write this. I write books. I write fiction sometimes. I can't write this because it doesn't exist in any realm that I can think of how stupid they are.
Yeah, what better example is there of a useful idiot than that? As he's literally saying about the guys yelling Allahu Akbar over his shoulder and throwing a nail bomb at people. But yeah, so we've had numerous Islamic terrorist attacks. Do the religion of peace doing what the religion of peace always does, and this is another threat we're not willing to address head on. That is only going to get worse as we're watching what's New York turn into the outpost for the caliphate here, and Dearborn, Michigan, everything that's going on in Texas and Dallas with Epic City and other places. And unfortunately, now you have members of the Republican Party getting behind this too in other places, and we're running numerous Islamic candidates throughout the country. And I'm sorry, this is not Islam is not compatible with Western values. We have to start treating it that way. Look at what's going on in Europe. We have to stop pretending this is the religion of peace, though I will give credit to whoever came up with that slogan, because man, that is about the best branding you could ever have. But we have to start addressing the problem for what it is and not fall for it when they call you a racist, sexist, bigot, Islamophobe, whatever, because it's untrue. Again, phobia implies an irrational fear. These are not irrational fears. Look what's going on in the UK and in France right now. They're freaking out across Europe. All the Eurocrats, the globalists over there, are freaking out because right-wing parties are surging in almost every country because people have had it with it. They're right now
with the demasculization. I mean, their men have been walking around with purses longer than ours, and that's where they're at. So it's coming here, and if we don't grow some balls, and if we don't embrace our own balls that we were born with here in America, we're going to have big problems. We're going to have big problems, and it ain't guys like me who are going to have a problem. It's these Democrats who are going to have a problem because they are going to own you. You like to talk about slavery so much, you are going to experience it. Your